What's up, Ravens fans? Welcome into For the Flock Rundown. I'm Ryan here with Noah, and we got a lot to talk about, bro. We have not been live since John Harbaugh was fired. So I don't know if you want to kick it off there or just whatever's on your mind, but it has been a crazy week.
Yeah, man. So the last live we were saying, hey, if the Ravens are going to move on from Harbaugh, it's going to have to be soon. And then the next day, boom, you texted me, you're like, bro, the news just hit. And I was shocked, man. It's like, I was hoping for it. A lot of Ravens fans were hoping for it. It was like time for change. But to actually see them pull the trigger and then to hear like the backstory of how it happened and everything was just like, wow, it's actually happened. Like it's a new era. Like after 18 years, we're going to see a different, like, every time you're playing, you're watching the game, right? And the camera, it always pointed over to the head coach. And you always see your head coach on the sideline like at least 5 times per game, like the reactions and stuff. Like just the fact that we're going to be watching Ravens games and it's not going to be Harbaugh's face. Like it's going to be someone else that the camera's pointing on. And it's really exciting. We've seen some coaches come in with a fresh start with talented teams. And like, boom, I think of like Nick Sirianni with the Eagles. They couldn't get over the hump. And then like, boom, he comes in, Super Bowl appearance, and then Super Bowl championship right off the bat within the first few years. So, you can look at the McVay thing. There's some excitement and intrigue about what the next coach can do with the Baltimore Ravens. But man, what was your reaction like whenever you actually got that notification?
Yeah, shock first, for sure. Even though, like you said, we've been like talking about it and saying, this could be the best course of action. Like it definitely was getting stale. It just 18 years is so long that you just like don't believe it until it happens. And
Yeah,
I genuinely was
crazy.
like thinking most like if I was like going to bet on it, it was going to be a coordinator change or something in that regard, like more of a minor change.
That's what I
Um,
thought too.
and then yeah, gone. And then, like you said too, we could dive into a little bit about like as far as what we know so far, but how it happened is very surprising to me. Like I saw Jeff Sarebek go on the Ryan Ripken show today and talk about more information behind the scenes, how Harbaugh and Bisciotti never even talked. They didn't meet. So
Wow.
Bisciotti on Tuesday is talking to players and the organization, and anonymous player actually went to his house and talked to him. And then Harbaugh leaves for the day. Harbaugh wasn't confirmed to come back, but in his mind, he expected that he was probably going to come back. And then he gets a call from Steve on the way home and gets let go. And then I guess they did talk again on Thursday for about 40 minutes. But shocking that that's the way it went down. And that kind of tells me, and we get to hear from Steve tomorrow. I can't wait. But
Yeah.
it does kind
A
of tell
phone
me
call,
that,
man, after 18 years. That's
dude,
kind of cold, bro.
that's how I feel.
That's kind of
Exactly.
cold.
That's my exact thoughts. I'm like, this was a like maybe not impulsive, maybe that's too blunt of a word, but like this wasn't a done deal right after the game or anything. Like Steve's literally like gathering information. He obviously had to be contemplating it, but
Yeah,
he's gathering information and didn't even tell Harbaugh on Tuesday when he was at the facility.
dude.
So like Harbaugh's thinking like, okay, I'm probably good. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and then you're
yeah.
not. And then you get that goodbye message from Harbaugh, which looked like a text. It had a emoji in it. Like it had a blush emoji in the goodbye message. And I'm like, that means he just like sent a text over. Like, here's my statement. You know what I mean? And I'm like, this is weird. It is a
Yeah.
weird departure. I've always said that whenever the Ravens decide to move on, it'll probably be such like a nice mutual cordial exit just because he's done so much and been here for so long that it just didn't seem like it would be a messy ending. And I'm sure
Yeah.
Harbaugh's going to go to another team and move on, and there's no like real bad blood here. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to like hype it up like there's drama or anything. I think everybody's moving forward in a positive direction, but it just was surprising to me. Not only was I shocked that he got fired finally, but also that it was done by a phone call that's crazy, man.
Yeah. Dude, that is absolutely crazy, man. And all I can think of is like coaching matters.
Yeah.
And to think that Steve Bisciotti had the players, he was talking to players and like one came over to his house. and then made the decision based off of that information. Kind of tells you everything you needed to know about whether or not, because remember, Ryan, there was reports about, does John Harbaugh really have the locker room? And a lot of people are like, no, like we got, like it was chat, it was rumors. And it actually came out to seem to be true, man, that it was time for a new voice and that the leadership style and stuff, they were ready for a change. But I just think about how much coaching matters. I think about the difference between the defense specifically with Mike McDonald and then Zach Orr as soon as he left. Like, it's night and day. The way their body language, their confidence, how hard they play, the swagger, how much turnovers and sack, like everything matters, man. Not just the scheme, but like the leadership style and how much confidence they instill. And, you've seen teams come in with a coaching change completely turn around. And it seems like the Ravens have the talent, right? With this roster, obviously before the Matabike injury, right? They were Super Bowl favorites. So they still have a very talented roster. Yes, they have free agents to deal with, but they have a great opportunity in the draft. They have a little bit of money. They're 17th in the league in salary cap. They can open up more with a Lamar extension. We should expect that to happen this offseason. If it doesn't, I'd be surprised. But, dude, how much do you I got to ask you this, Ryan.
Yeah.
How much do you think Lamar will have an impact on the head coach, the next head coach for the Baltimore Ravens? Do you think he'll have any say? Do you think this is just Steve Bisciotti, Sashi Brown, Eric DeCosta business, or just Bisciotti business? Do you think they say, hey, do you want a defensive guy? Do you want an offensive guy? Like, who are the guys you like, or no input? What's your thoughts on that, man?
I think it'd be smart to have input. I mean, ultimately, it's Steve's decision. You know what I mean? Yeah. He is also the sole one that made the decision to move on. So I think at the end of the day, Steve and I think he does a good job of listening and gathering a lot of information and then making his own decision. And it's probably somebody that we should kind of trust as Ravens fans to make decisions. Like, this guy built a multi-billion-dollar company. He's hired great people in his business life. He's made solid head coach hires too. Like, as much as the Harbaugh train ran stale, it's not that Harbaugh was a bad coach. Like, dude's most coveted coach on the market right now. You know what I mean? So, like,
Bisciotti got 2 rings in a relatively short amount of time too, man.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad hire. Maybe we stuck with it a little long. That's up for debate. But, like, I trust that Steve is sharp, man. And I really think that, he kind of went against the grain on this one a little bit, at least within the organization. I know the fans have been screaming about it, but within the organization, like Eric DeCosta and obviously the coordinators, they didn't want Harbaugh to go. You know what I mean? Like, they said the reports were that Eric DeCosta was in tears letting everyone know that Harbaugh got fired. And, like, Monken thought he was running it back. He said that too. He spoke this week on the Ryan Ripken show. And, like, he was like, I thought we were running it back. Like, we weren't that bad. You know what I mean? And he explained that it was tough to overcome the injuries and stuff like that. So I think within the organization, they did think it was going to get brought back. But to round back to my point, Steve went against the grain there. And I trust that he's going to make the ultimate decision, but it would be unwise to not run things by Lamar or meet with him frequently. Not that it's like, Lamar, who do you want? Let's go hire him. I just think that it's fair to have a healthy amount of input from your franchise quarterback, especially if you're about to extend him and, build this next era of Baltimore with a new head coach and Lamar Jackson. Like, if Lamar's going to be here, he's the most important person to make sure that the coach gels and that you can build something successful.
Yeah, for sure, man. I feel like you have a happy Lamar and a Lamar having fun, you have a good chance of winning a Super Bowl. And I don't know, I've said this so many times, but, like, I would just be so intrigued to see what it would look like to have an offensive-minded, like, head coach come in and coach a guy like Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's got another year on that contract. Yeah, he's getting older, but he didn't really show much signs of slowing down this last season. The offensive line wasn't good. And, he's going to be working his butt off in the offseason, probably already is. And and preparing for this upcoming season, man. But I mean, no doubt about it, man. Time is ticking on the window, right? Like for like an athlete to be in his prime, like part of what makes Lamar Jackson so special is his elite athleticism. And he's 29 years old now. So
year 9. Yeah.
Year 9, man. Seems like
Crazy.
yesterday we just drafted him. The Ravens got back in the draft in 2018, traded up right after drafting Hayden Hurst of all people. But
wild. And that was a great draft, but that big. Right. Not that he's a bum, but just way too high. Way too high.
Too high. And but we also got Mark in the 3rd round that year.
Orlando Brown Jr. too. Yeah, it was a good draft, dude. Ozzy's farewell draft.
Yeah. He went out with a bang, that's for sure. Dude, I was just actually watching. It's funny. I saw a comment. A1 Primetime Movie says, I like Odafe Owe turn into Lawrence Taylor after leaving Orr's system, bro. Hey, that's what I was saying. Like, coaching matters, man. Yeah. Coaching matters. And to see like the pass rush with Mike McDonald, Jadeveon Clowney's getting 9 sacks, Kyle Van Noy's getting 13 sacks, like Madubuike's getting up there, like, dude. And then all of it, we led the league in sacks, and then we have Zach Orr come in, and we're like bottom half both years in a row. And then we have other players that have like the same amount of sacks as our entire team. Just embarrassing and not acceptable.
No.
And dude, I'm excited to build these trenches up, man. I'm excited to build these trenches. In this draft, there's some exciting defensive line, offensive line guys that could come in, man, add some talent to those trenches. There's some guys in free agency. We'll see what the Ravens do with some of their free agents, but we got Travis Jones coming back. Linderbaum's a huge decision, man.
You got to sign him.
Got to bring Linderbaum back.
That's a huge hole if you don't. Like, now you got 3 holes on the offensive line. You know what I mean? It's like we could plug one of those quick. I think you definitely got to bring him back. I'm curious to see. I guess we won't see a lot of movement until they bring in the new coaching staff, right? Like, you got to Eric DeCosta's got to know, like, I mean, maybe he just builds a team on his own, but I feel like you should build it, towards coach's strengths or what scheme they're going to run. You know what I mean? Like, are we changing schemes? Like, this has been they've been building this defense, especially for a long time. Like, Mike McDonald was here a decade prior, like with Wink and them. And then, like, you know what I mean? It's been a Rex Ryan started it. It's been an ever evolving defense to where we're at now. And most likely someone comes in and changes it all up, right?
I know. And that's such a good point, Ryan, because I didn't even think about the fact that, like, so remember, Eric DeCosta and John Harbaugh were neighbors. Like, they hung out, family, friends, their kids hung out. They were like, they had that one video of them like meeting by the fence. Like,
probably still our neighbors unless he's selling the house.
I know, man. So here's the thing. The continuity that they've had in the last 18 drafts, the relationship between John Harbaugh, Eric DeCosta, Ozzie Newsome, that process of player develop or talent scouting, and then what that looks like on draft day, and having all the coaches like do their film study, that's going to be a completely whole new thing. Like, Eric DeCosta is going to have to bring in the new head coach and be like, this is how we do things. I need you to look at these players. Like, and then they got to build their offensive staff, their defensive staff after the head coach is hired. So, man, big time changes. Not just like the stuff you see on Sundays, but all the stuff that goes into it with the offseason and roster construction. Yeah. How will Eric DeCosta and the new head coach have a relationship? You hear those times where it's like, the head coach wanted to draft his quarterback, but the general manager said no, and turns out this quarterback turns out to be like a stud, right? Or vice versa. The head coach wanted someone, and or the GM wanted someone the head coach didn't. I'm curious to see how this relationship is with the new new coaching staff, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, on a surface level, it's going to seem super positive, but it's got to be like awkward and everyone's learning each other behind the scenes. Like the entire feel of the building is going to be drastically different. But I do think, as long as they don't really screw the hire up, like I do think that new energy and new life and new voice is a positive. You know what I mean? Like not only hopefully we're playing some smarter football and more well prepared, especially in big games, but also just having, like, imagine getting to rookie mini camp or voluntary mini camp and training camp, and you just have a new guy there talking to you. You have all new coaches. Like nothing's the same. You know what I mean? Like the building's the same, but everyone really in it isn't. And you might change structure that way too. Like, do you lean against bringing a guy back like Pat Ricard because it's like, nah, this new offensive coach doesn't use fullbacks. Like, like the style has changed. It might not be stop the run and run first. Like, you know what I mean? Like everything, the philosophy might shift because I don't know if that's coming from Steve. I think he lets the head coach kind of build their own culture a little bit. Obviously he's the decision maker, but Harbaugh played a big role in building this philosophy that is the Baltimore Ravens that we know right now. And I'm just expecting things to look quite a bit different, man. It's going to be weird. Let's get to some of these super chats and we'll dive into like head coaches and interviews and talk about some names and stuff too.
Yeah.
So BB, appreciate you, man, with the 5. Kubiak has to be the option without knowing who his crew is. I love Kubiak too. If we're going offense, that is my favorite offensive head coach that has been named, at least. Maybe there's somebody under the radar I'm not thinking about or in college or something. But I do feel like Kubiak is the answer at offensive head coach. I don't think he'd be a coordinator. He's not going to make a lateral move. So if he doesn't get a head coaching job, he's probably staying in Seattle, I would assume. So he would have to be hired as our head coach. He's a little bit more of like a reserved guy. I went and watched a bunch of interviews because I've been like trying to get a feel for like who would be the best option here. Not that I'm making a decision, but I just wanted to know, and a little bit quieter, more reserved, very methodical. Like it would definitely be a different leadership style than like a Brian Flores. You know what I mean? Like it is. So, you got to pick and choose here. They're not similar. So like it's which way are you going? Do you want an offensive minded head coach, defensive minded head coach? And what leadership style? Do you want a calmer guy that is like very player friendly? Or do you want maybe a more aggressive, like, I don't want to say dictator, but like somebody that's just no nonsense. Like, you know what I mean? And
like someone
not your friend.
Someone that has your team like disciplined, punch you in the mouth, not apologize about it, no false starts and big time moments, that'd be intriguing.
Yeah. What do you think about Kubiak while we're here on this chat? Just your thoughts if you have any.
Kubiak gets me very excited. I'm curious to see what his leadership style is. I don't know much about his like command presence, like how he addresses a room, how he gets the guys fired up, but like just what we've seen as far as the offensive mind that he is, seems to be one of the premier available offensive minds in the entire NFL right now. And he's really ascended. He's been under some great, he actually was under Shanahan. So, and that 49ers offense Shanahan schemes up the craziest wide open stuff I've ever seen in the past game, and the run game balance they have. And then obviously his dad was, one of the best coordinators we've ever had here with the Ravens in 2014.
Brief.
1 year before he got that opportunity with the Broncos and won a Super Bowl with them. But Kubiak gets me excited. But, now that I think about it, you don't always need a guy that's like an alpha personality that's going to yell at people. Like, look at Andy Reid, bro. Yep. Like, Andy Reid don't yell at nobody.
No, if you don't need that for sure. That's why I was saying it's just a pick of style. Like, what do they prefer?
It's
what I mean?
Intriguing. I know I'd be fired up about seeing him call plays for Lamar Jackson and Derek Stinking Henry, man.
Yeah.
That would get me pretty gassed. And obviously, like, seems like he's made of the right stuff to ascend, and what he's done with the Seahawks offense this year, been one of the best offenses in football. To see Sam Darnold, not dogging on Sam Darnold's talent, but we know Sam Darnold's not nowhere near as talented as some of the other quarterbacks in the league. So what could he do with a guy like Lamar, dude?
Yeah, that's where my head's at too. We have more weapons too, as long as we build up solid offensive line. I think we're missing that, but I'm just saying. Other than that, we got a lot of fun toys, man. I do think that's such an interesting option. Sweaty with the 5, thank you. A lot of bad suggestions. He might be talking about chat. Spags, he is 11-41 as a head coach and had the worst record 2 of 3 years. No to Saleh, Stefanski, Kingsbury, Flores, losers. Wait, what's your take on this?
Where did Spagnuolo coach as a head coach? I think is he combining all the other names?
Yeah, he mentioned a lot of names. That's why. Yeah. So he was a head coach with the St. Louis Rams 2009 to 2011, and he was an interim head coach for the New York Giants in 2017. That's it. Recently, he's been on the Chiefs.
Yeah. Spagnuolo is intriguing. He always has an elite defense. He has, absolutely stifled Lamar every time he's played him, except for like one time in 2021. But Saleh actually gets me really fired up.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Saleh would be exciting, intriguing. He always has his defenses playing crazy. Like I watched his defenses play, running around like a chicken with their head cut off, like with their hair on fire. And I see him get gassed up on the sidelines. I see the way the players react to him. I thought he didn't have a lot of success with the Jets, but look at his situation that he inherited.
That was Rodgers' year too. It was weird, man. Yeah, there's like a lot of weird dynamics going on. Yeah.
And I agree. Stefanski, I'm not saying Stefanski's my favorite option, but I don't want to pretend like he didn't turn the absolute dumpster fire Browns into a playoff team. Like,
yeah.
I mean, he brought them to the playoffs multiple times and got a playoff win after they hadn't even sniffed a winning record.
I feel like he'd be like kind of like a Harbaugh-esque coach, right?
Yeah.
In a way. Like to me, it's a little not from the same tree, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not even saying they have the exact same philosophy. I just mean like leader-wise.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. And I think Stefanski, he always has a nice offense. You were seeing the offense get enough production to beat the Steelers with stinking Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel. They were at least productive on offense at times. But I remember there was a time where when Baker was there that the Browns were actually like a really good team. Like, I was scared to play the Browns.
We were playing them for the division when Mosley picked Baker off. Game winner, pick. I forget what year exactly that was.
I think that was the same year they absolutely blew us out in Baltimore whenever Landry and Odell went all wild on us. Nick Chubb. But I do like his scheme. He always has a strong run game. He does a lot of boots and play actions and stuff off of it. So I just don't want to. It's not like my favorite option, but people that are like absolutely no, like he's a great offensive mind.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's a terrible option. It's definitely not in my lead options. We'll talk about our rankings here in a second. We're as of right now, we're not even interviewing Spags. So we have 15. We have 7 completed interviews and 8 to go here, and Spags is not one of them. So I don't know how much we want to read into that this early, but I'm just saying he's not, getting a Zoom call as of now. But Sweaty also with the 5. Lamar said he loved Kubiak's offense on some podcast, and he's now tied for betting favorite. He's a perfect scheme fit, likes to move the pocket. Yeah, Kubiak is my favorite offensive option right now.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Kubiak's getting some
exciting.
Yeah, he's getting some interviews from other teams as well, some interest. So
most of the guys are, and I get it. It's just Zoom calls, so we'll really have a good idea when we start to hear who's coming in person for interviews after this wave of Zoom calls. You know what I mean? Because right now, I think the Ravens and like Titans, like they're interviewing like 14, 15 coaches. You have no idea where their head's even at. We haven't heard from Steve. So it's like, I don't know. We're just spitballing right now of like who we like and stuff. But
I definitely think Kubiak's one of the top contenders.
Me too. Yeah, I agree. Pat Man with the 5. Thank you. I want Lamar involved when it comes to picking the OC, not the head coach. The head coach has to be good for the entire team, not just Lamar. That's a good point. I mean, if you're planning to have another 18-year plus head coach or a really long time, that would supersede Lamar's career. And you have to think about, who do we want to lead and run this organization? I guess I'm attracted to having Lamar involved because in the immediate future, it matters a lot. You know what I mean? And like that's the only reason I think that. But I also hear the point of like very, very long term. I want to win a Super Bowl like this year coming, man. Like, you know what I mean? So I want Lamar to kind of be on board. But if we do hire a head coach and Lamar's just on board with who the OC is, I think that's positive as well.
Yeah, dude. You want to get on to some of these other guys that the Ravens have interviewed?
Yeah, we can. I was just catching up on the supers, but
yeah. Let's do it. We got one more. Oh no, we got
4, 5, 6, 7 more. Yeah, that's
dude,
why
you guys are coming in with the love today, man.
Guys. We'll run through them. We won't stay on too long because we do want to get to the coaching list.
Yeah.
Dark Blade with the 10. Thank you so much. Dream scenario: Brian Flores head coach, Mike McDaniel OC, Vance Joseph DC. And what are the chances we play Mark this year and franchise tag likely to see his full potential and move on from Mark in 2028? Okay, a lot to unpack here. Love Brian Flores as well. I think Saleh and Flores are like my leaders on defense. Honestly, he's not getting many interviews either. I believe the Ravens are the only team to request Flores, which could. There's a lot of reports coming out from like his time in Miami and stuff, and then like a lot of players are like, dude is like Bill Belichick style, which makes sense. He was there from 08 to 2018 under Bill Belichick. He probably is like that. He is a tough guy. You know what I mean? Like it's his way. You know what I mean? And you're not going to be able to go against it, but maybe that works. Mike McDaniel, OC, is fun. I'll just get your thoughts on that. You could talk about Mark too, if you want there.
So it seems like like a lot of good names there. The thing is though, is to have like two elite defensive minds there with Brian Flores, who's been a defensive play caller for the last few years with the Vikings, and then Vance Joseph, who's been a defensive play caller. Like, I don't know if I like having those two guys with those type of strong opinions about their defenses and like the success they've had with their defenses. So, because I'd be curious if Brian Flores is calling plays, why have Vance Joseph? I don't know.
That is an interesting dynamic. If you hire a strong defensive mind, do you hire a DC that is just like with him, so he kind of follows that same strategy, or like, why would your DC be like have his own ideas?
Yeah, they might. I don't know if the Broncos and the Vikings are running the same defensive schemes, which they're both the coordinators right now for those two teams. But Mike McDaniel, offensive coordinator, would be very fun. I would love to see Likely back, and I would love to see, if we can have Likely and Mark back one more year, where we tag Likely or 1 year contract extension or something like that, and then cut Mark the following year whenever after the guarantees are over. I would be intrigued. I've been saying it from the beginning for several years now that I wanted to see Likely take over as tight end 1. So thank you for the super, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you. Sweaty again with the 5. If we think we get bad calls now, let's see with Flores, who's suing the NFL. Also pull up Cooper Kupp comments on Kubiak as a head coach. It was this week. I'll pull that. Yeah, I was gonna say I'll pull that up right now if you want to just talk about Flores and
I'm not on the Flores train
at all. Just from what leadership style? Because I mean, his defenses are successful.
Yeah, just the stuff I was hearing from other analysts and the reports about how he's very dictator-like, my way or the highway. I don't know. It could be good. It could be like a good disciplined defense. It could be great. But I want to see someone that will take the opinion of Lamar Jackson and not like clash heads with him, or, Kyle Hamilton, who's an all-pro, Roquan Smith, and I kind of want
arguing or tension or like other problems created. Yeah.
It sounds. I don't want to say that he's not like good with people, but it seems like there's been a lot of tension. So
yeah,
as a head coach, you need someone with like good people skills, like to de-escalate tension and stuff like that. But not saying that that I'd completely throw it out, but I'd like to see like, what did you learn? In that interview, I'd like to hear like, what did you learn? What would you do differently based off your last head coaching stint in Miami, and kind of see where his headspace is with that. So, yeah.
I got this Cooper Kupp. It was 2 days ago. He spoke on Clint Kubiak. Yeah, he said, guys love him. You want to play for guys like Clint. Humility is one thing. I think it's one of his special traits. He leans on guys, but obviously he's a very smart ball coach. Understands a lot about this game, but his humility to be able to talk to guys and maybe see, hey, there's something that I'm asking someone to do. Maybe they can't do it for some reason. Here's a better way to do it. And his openness to be able to talk to players and coaches that he has around him and to delegate and be able to grab everyone's best traits and bring them all to the forefront. I think he does a great job of that. So, yeah, I think he would be a great head coach. Hopefully he's here. But I guess also, you want everyone to be able to ascend and go do whatever they want to do. I'm sure he'll be great wherever he is. That is Cooper Kupp on Clint Kubiak. And obviously Kupp's been around the game for a while and knows a lot of ball. So that's high praise for his offensive coordinator. Thanks for referencing that, Sweaty.
Yeah.
And Sweaty again with the 2. No, that's Spags' record. Look it up. 11-41 as a coach. Yeah, it's probably the stints he had with the Rams and Giants. St. Louis Rams and Giants. Bad teams. Yeah, makes sense. BB with the 5. Kubiak took Darnold, K9, and JSN to the number 1 seed in their first year together.
Yeah,
his red zone offense is exceptional. We need Kubiak trust. Yeah, a lot of love for Kubiak here.
I'd be jumping up and down if I got the
notification. They interviewed him early, so it's like obviously he's on the Ravens' radar. He was like, I think the second or third interview over. He was the third because it was the Broncos. It was Vance Joseph, Davis Webb, Broncos pass game coordinator, and then Clint Kubiak. So it was like,
and it's not like the way the Ravens and Mike McDonald left were on great terms, Yep. So I'm sure like Eric DeCosta and Steve still had a good relationship with Mike where they could be like, hey, Mike, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on this guy?
Yeah, 100%.
And like, I'm sure they still have that. And they probably have a lot of information. Plus the whole fact that Gary was there and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. Zayad, my fault if I'm mispronouncing that, with the 2. Appreciate you. Flores equals Kyle Hamilton, defensive player of the year, and Trenton 10 sacks. I would love Flores as a DC. I hear you on some of the head coaching concerns, and I also think the league has spoke because there's no one interviewing him.
The Ravens are the only ones.
So like that does speak volumes. If you look at Robert Saleh and everyone else, they're getting laundry list of interviews. And for some reason, Flores is not. It could be the NFL drama a little bit too.
Having an open lawsuit against the NFL is not ideal.
Yeah,
there's going to be a lot of questions about that wherever he gets hired.
Yeah, no doubt.
Especially if he's a head coach adjusting the media every week.
100%. 100%. JT Westful with the 5. Thank you. Spags. He's older, which is good. Been around Super Bowls. Mike Mack as OC. Spags terrorized us as a DC. Stefanski next. No Flores. Heard he is divisive. So another pro Spags here. We seen a couple back and forth of both sides there. Mike McDaniel as offensive coordinator is exciting. I do like that. He's interviewing for 4 head coaching jobs, including the Ravens, by the way, as a head coach. But I think they could be getting some intel there. And then he is interviewing for the Lions offensive coordinator position.
Who is this?
Mike McDaniel,
Mike McDaniel. Okay.
Dolphins
Yeah.
ex-head coach now.
Yeah.
But he's got 4 head coach interviews, including the Ravens, and then has a offensive coordinator interview for the Lions this week. So, I mean, he's definitely has interest.
Yeah.
I don't know whether he'll get a head coaching job or not, but
yeah, he's definitely a really good offensive mind, man. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. Sweaty again with the 5. Reason to go offense. We keep swapping OCs. When they succeed, Lamar will be on his 5th offense next year. Give him continuity. Yeah, that is my biggest argument for offensive coordinator or offensive mind head coach as well. You don't lose them. You know what I mean? You're not going to have to worry about, shoot, who's Lamar? Who's this offense next coordinator? Is it going to work? Like, how's it going to look? You continue to build there. We only got 1 left here. Oh, from Donovan. Appreciate you with the 2. You didn't say anything here. If you do say something in the chat, let us know. We'll read it. But appreciate you guys. All right. Now, we talked about a lot of the head coaches here, but let me pull up the exact list. I made this real quick. This is who we have interviewed: Vance Joseph, Cliff Kingsbury, Clint Kubiak, Matt Nagy, Kevin Stefanski, Anthony Weaver, and Davis Webb have all officially completed Zoom interviews with the Ravens, and all for head coach too. No coordinator jobs, but like I said, they could be getting intel for coordinator in the future too, just by talking to them. But those are head coach interviews, and then still to be scheduled or is scheduled, but we don't know exactly what day, is Mike McDaniel, Jim Schwartz, Brian Flores, Robert Saleh, Jesse Minter, Chris Shula, Nathan Shielhaas, and Joe Brady. So what are you thinking, man? What's your thoughts? Maybe on some guys, maybe not on Clint Kubiak, who we've been talking about for a little bit here, but maybe who's some other things that stand out to you, or just overall thoughts about the process or names on this list?
Well, one thing that stands out to me is it seems like they're actually going like a pretty balanced approach between offensive and defensive minds.
Yeah.
So offensive, we got Joe Brady, Mike McDaniel, Davis Webb, Kevin Stefanski, Matt Nagy, Clint Kubiak. So almost 50-50, right?
Yep.
Matt Nagy, like when I saw that one, I was like, but then I was like, oh, I don't know. Like that kind of, like, he has head coaching experience, brought the Bears to a playoff game, didn't have the best quarterback situation, seems to be a very brilliant offensive mind. And he's, been under Andy Reid and won a Super Bowl and stuff. So, that name is intriguing. Stefanski, we talked about him. Anthony Weaver, I don't know. Like, I get excited about Anthony Weaver. We've talked about him, Ryan, about his leadership and the way he gets guys fired up. Like, he seems like he would be a great head coach, like more so than even a coordinator. Like he feels like he has that leadership. I just wonder if it's like they want to go full on for a fresh voice that the Ravens have not heard before. Does that make sense?
No, 100%. Like he's been there, so there's already a little continuity.
So let's say he comes in as head coach. He's like, making his first opening, like comments to the team, and it's like, bro, you were just here 2 years ago as our defensive line coach. Like, you know what I mean?
Like Travis Jones, and then they know him well.
So not that like it couldn't be a good thing. I think he'll be a great head coach. But I just wonder if it's like you want to go for the fresh voice you that's never been in the locker room, like a Vance Joseph, like a Clint Kubiak, or a Chris Shula. I don't know. Jesse Minter is intriguing, but again, he was with the Ravens. Familiarity.
Long Harbaugh ties.
Joe Brady is intriguing too. Like, he's helped Josh Allen ever since he took over as the OC play his best football. He's helped Josh Allen. One of the things he's helped Josh Allen do is not always be Superman, and to take like the quick and easy throws and pick up the first down and stick to the run game. So that's intriguing, because sometimes I'm like with Lamar, you drop back and you see there's a easy 5-yard gain to the flat, or a 5-yard hitch open to your tight end, but he's looking downfield and then takes a sack, or has to create magic, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like what Joe Brady's done with the Bills. I obviously under, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on their head coach's name. Bills head coach. Gosh.
Oh, McDermott.
McDermott.
Yeah.
Been under him. So yeah, that would be intriguing. But what I noticed is that there's a nice balance between offensive and defensive guys. Obviously, no special teams coordinators on here.
Yeah.
But in fact, out of all these guys, there's only one that I see that's not a coordinator, right? And that's Davis Webb, who's the pass game coordinator and quarterbacks coach for the Broncos. So.
Isn't Shielhaas? I might be pronouncing that name wrong. Nathan, he's on the Rams. I think he is their like pass game coordinator.
Okay.
Or something. Let me double check that information. Yeah. But like I'm almost positive that he's an offensive guy as well. We got
right off the rip, bro. What's your top? Yeah. What's your top three?
Top three is Kubiak, Saleh. I pause right there. It's because I actually really want, if we do go defense, I want Mike McDaniel as OC.
Yeah.
Like I would love Robert Saleh and Mike McDaniel.
That would be nasty.
I think that's so sick. I think that's such a good balance because Robert Saleh obviously gets the defense back on track. Dude's balling. Did you see the way the 49ers play with all those injuries in the way they contain the Eagles team and the passion they're playing with, how fired up he is? I know he can rally the troops too. That little stint in the Jets was a weird like moment to come into, man. I definitely think that he got a little bit of a bad rap, and maybe he didn't do as good of a job as he should have, but like that's a lesson then, right? Like now he's better.
Jets defense wasn't bad.
Right. Yeah.
Their offense was just pitiful.
Yeah.
Maybe he did a bad job of choosing the offensive staff. Maybe we could fault him in that.
Yeah.
Because I think who was their coordinator during that time? It was man.
Oh, I don't remember either.
Somebody who's not a coordinator right now, that's for sure. But anyways,
Nathan is the pass game coordinator for the Rams, by the way. So him and Webb
are the only two non-coordinators.
Not coordinator.
Yeah. So your top three was Saleh.
I didn't name a third. I was saying Saleh, Kubiak, and I'm struggling. I was leaning Flores, but I don't know, man. As a leader, I'm questioning that too. Maybe I'll just say Jesse Minter. Even though there's some ties, I love the way he operates, and maybe the ties aren't a negative. Maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe the ties are trusting, but also different. But I'm definitely leaning Kubiak first.
Yeah.
And then if we are not going offensive mind head coach, then Saleh with the McDaniel combo is awesome.
That's
you know what I mean? And I think Cliff Kingsbury is going to be an OC as well. I don't think he's going to get a head coach job most likely.
No, I don't think so.
He's probably on the list of like OCs, you know what I mean? OCs. And he's thrived before. So like, I think we'd have some options at offensive coordinator if we went with a guy like Saleh. But what's your top three?
Top three, my number one is Saleh.
Okay.
My number two is Kubiak.
Right.
And then my number three is probably Joe Brady.
Okay. So similar page then.
Yeah. But I also, my 4 and 5, Minter and Chris Shula would probably be in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone coming off of the McVay tree gets you excited as well.
Yeah. No,
Shula has that defense playing good with a lot of young talent. Like I remember, so it was 2021 when the Rams won the Super Bowl against the Bengals, right?
Yep.
So after the Aaron Donald left, they had to completely rebuild because they went all in, spent all their money, and then had to completely revamp their roster through the draft. And then Shula helped really get the most out of the young talent and develop those guys to play good football, to come back and be competitive again. So Shula gets me excited as well.
Yeah. No, I like that name. There's a lot of interesting names, man. And it ties into this super chat we got here from Donovan. Do the Ravens seem thorough or indecisive? I think thorough.
Thorough.
I think what you said, Noah, about how balanced, the positions are that they're interviewing, and I need to say this again, these are only Zoom calls. This is not
Right.
like a for real full length interview. They're not like
Yeah.
fully preparing a imaginary offense for what it would be like. The Zoom call is probably brief and more to get to know each other, feel the vibe out, maybe some ideas of like what the offense could look like or not. But then when they get the follow-up interview in the building, that's when it's going to be like, all right, what guy is the guy? You know what I mean? But the casting a wide net right now, I think, is thorough.
I think it's very thorough. And I think just like the same way in the draft, dude, you turn over every stone and you interview players that you may not even think are going to be drafted, because you want to be that thorough. And same thing with this head coach, man. You cannot fumble this, bro. You cannot fumble. Like, the Ravens want to make sure they talk to as many people as possible. And I think the larger your pool is, first of all, obviously, the more competitive it is for the next thinner pool of guys that they're going to narrow it down to. But also you can kind of contrast more the more guys you talk to and compare, you know? So it just makes the next pool that they narrow it down to even more competitive. And then they're probably going to narrow it down to a final couple. Right. And so I think it's thorough. I don't think it's indecisive. And it's not like pretty much I wouldn't be mad about, like, obviously I have my guys I want, but a lot of the names on here, like, I wouldn't be mad if the Ravens went there. So
yeah, and
like,
and we gotta trust
guys.
And we gotta trust Steve to an extent. Like, we know more. We ain't sitting in these interviews. You know what I mean? And even just because you saw someone's resume doesn't mean that they aren't capable of doing better or doing the job well. So like, I genuinely
look at factors as well. Like,
I love that they're casting a wide net and getting as much information as possible. And I also think Steve's not messing around, man, or he wouldn't have moved on from Harbaugh. This was a drastic change. And now all of a sudden we're interviewing everybody. Like, let's figure it out. Who's got the juice? Who stands out? Who's like shockingly good? You know what I mean? Where it's like,
this has to be a good hire, Ryan, for the Ravens to make the most of Lamar in his prime, bro.
Pressure's on. No, pressure's on for real. Like, it is very, very important that Steve nails this hire and that it works out, or the Ravens will be going in a complete opposite direction, and it would be a while. You know what I mean? So, but I like I said, I think he'll do it. I think he'll do good.
Yeah. If they let's say this, Ryan, if they give the next guy 2 years and it doesn't go well, Lamar will now be 31.
Yeah,
coming in with a brand new head coaching.
And may want out. We could have bigger problems.
Right.
Like, we may have to go in a different. You might be like, all right, dude, I'm done. I've been on the Ravens for 11 years.
Yeah.
Like, haven't even. I mean, I guess we were close once, but yeah, no, 100%. We got another one from Dark Blade here. Can we agree to protest if Kevin Stefanski gets hired as head coach? He didn't even know how to use Shador and swap Gabriel for Shador when he was garbage. Stefanski's not at the top of my list by any means, but I also think he would do a better job. But to me, he does remind me. I know he knows more offense, but I do think would be a similar leadership style to Harbaugh. I got a little bit more of a peek behind the scenes on the Hard Knocks. Was that last year? Yeah, last year when we were on the HBO Hard Knocks, and it was the whole AFC North. And you could just see him talking in the meetings and all that. And I'm like, man, it does remind you of like people like him, you know what I mean? But I don't know what direction they're going to go in. I know you don't mind Stefanski, right, Noah?
I don't mind him. Like you said, he's not one of my favorites, but I wouldn't be mad. I think if they would hired him, it would be for a good reason. It's because he was the best candidate. So
yeah. I think that's going to be the case with whoever that ends up getting the job. It's like, this is the best dude, man. Goats existed with the two. Appreciate you, man. I'm really hoping we get Saleh at least defensive coordinator. I love Saleh. I don't know if he'd make a lateral move. If he's going to be a DC, he probably just stays 49ers. That's how I feel about Clint Kubiak. Like, if nobody's hiring, yeah, exactly. You're not going to make a lateral move and hop ship. Like, Kubiak's on the #1 seed in the NFC. If he doesn't get a head coaching offer, he's like, let's run it back.
Right.
You know, so it's got to be a head coaching offer, I feel like, and same with Saleh. But I do think Saleh will get a chance, and I wouldn't be shocked if it is in Baltimore, man. I really think that is one of, out of this entire list, he stands out to me. He's got recent head coach experience in every defense this guy's got, man. The players are rallying, and it's smart football. They seem well prepared, which is what we've been missing out a little bit on.
Yeah, man.
And then Gene with the 2, Clint head coach, McDaniel OC, Schwartz DC. Does this kind of get back to what you were saying earlier, Noah, about having like an offensive minded head coach, but then getting another different style offensive coordinator? It might not mesh as well.
Yeah, especially McDaniel, who was just a head coach.
Yeah.
So now you're asking him to be your offensive coordinator and then not have his own show to run.
Right. That's the thing. It's not his show. If Clint's there, it's Clint's offense, right?
Right.
And then, like, you just need a play caller. Do you have to hire an OC?
Yeah, they always do.
Just to play call, just to get it off your hands, but it's still Clint Kubiak's offense. Like, he's
and even a lot of times when the head coach is calling plays, they still have the coordinator there. You know, I've seen a team without an offensive and defensive coordinator. So I think also, like, it's their job, even if the head coach has installed the defense or the offense, whatever side they're on, and then calls plays, they still can't be in 100% of the meetings for the offense or the defense. So it's still the coordinator's job to make sure everyone is on the same page and understands the play calls and runs through everything and teaches it and breaks it down. So, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. We got another one from Goats. Appreciate you, man. Serious question. Would you guys want EDC gone if he, for some reason, decided to re-sign Daniel Fa'alele? What do you think, Noah? Would you lose some confidence in Eric DaCosta if that's our re-signing?
Yes.
Yeah,
I would lose confidence in Eric DaCosta. I would be very upset.
I completely agree, because it literally is it's ran its course and hasn't improved. And that was my thing with it. Like, it was a project already. You took Fa'alele in the mid rounds as a right tackle, never played guard, and then all of a sudden he's starting at guard because you don't have any other option. You don't really have even a lot of competition there, and you run that experiment for 2 full seasons. And it's like, dude, we've seen enough sample size here. You know what I mean? Like, 1 year, his first year, I was like, the fact that we were bringing him back, I wasn't happy about it as a starter, but I also was like, okay, it can't be worse than last year, right? Like, it's got to be better than last year, and it wasn't. It's the same. So it's like, no confidence in that.
Yeah, bro. Gotta get this offensive line right.
Yeah, 100%. And it's really just 2 guards, man. It's not that crazy. Like, you know what I mean? If you sign Linderbaum, it's 2 guards. So I don't think sorry, there's some news about the Giants met with Harbaugh, had lunch, and had an informal meeting at the coach's house, or the GM executive, Chris Mara, and people on both sides say Harbaugh remains very interested in the Giants job. That just came through from Ian Rappaport. So
he also had an interview with the Falcons. So
yeah. So, and he's like narrowing his teams down too. I saw, like, he kind of gets to choose. Like,
yeah, he's got a lot of options, bro. He's kind of in the boat of Kubiak right now, like, where Kubiak's going to have his choice. He'll probably have offers from multiple teams.
Yeah. Well, I think Harbaugh is great for, you know, a team like the Giants that's not consistently in the playoffs. And, like, I do think he could bring stability and make them, like, more competitive. But obviously we've seen it ran stale here too long, and in big games we've been out coached in almost every single big game, to be honest with you, in the playoffs. And I don't know if he's going to take a team to the Super Bowl unless they just have, like, the greatest roster and the perfect coordinator hires and things like that. But it is interesting, man. And press conference tomorrow, 2:00 Steve Bisciotti, Eric DeCosta. What do you think? What's your feelings on Steve's thoughts? You think he's going to be very transparent and honest? He usually kind of is. And I feel like this is a huge moment in the organization. Like, let's hear the truth, right?
Yep. I think he's going to let it rip, man. I think he's going to say what he means and mean what he says.
Yeah.
And that's how I like it, man. That's why he's had a lot of success as an owner and a business person. So I can't wait. I can't wait. Not just him, but also Eric DeCosta. Like, I want to hear, how does Eric DeCosta feel about this? This was his friend, you know? And then how will they be like evaluating the next guy? How are they feeling about Lamar's contract, the free agency, drafts, like all of it, bro? I'm excited for all of it, man.
Yeah, there's so much going on. Like, the Lamar extension's looming too, and that's why I think, like, I know they're probably prepared to not have to extend him, but I just can't imagine, unless there's some real beef or something really's going on. I can't imagine that Lamar would like not want to stay here and then also let the team have a $74 million cap hit. Like, if we just extend him a few years, we can clear 30-40 million on top of what we have. And then we have options. You know what I mean? So if like,
then we bring in Max Crosby.
yeah.
And we win the freaking Super Bowl,
dude,
Ryan.
We got options. I would love that. We can get aggressive like that. And we got draft capital. This is the highest draft capital we've had in a while. You know what I mean? Not only, you've mentioned this before, but not only our first round at 14, it makes every round better. Now we're picking 14 in the second round, the third round. Like, you're picking 10 plus spots higher than you usually are. That's a big difference. You're going to get a huge, more talented pool of players picking higher. And if that means you could trade one for Max Crosby, I'm with it, man. I would do that. Like I said earlier, I want to win now. I want to win this year. You know what I mean? We have a roster that isn't awful. So it's not like we're in some rebuilding mode where we need to completely overhaul everything. I really just think we need a smart head coach. We need to build up the trenches, and this is a contender again.
I agree, man. Speaking of building up the trenches, though, Ryan, it's looking I've been looking at some draft stuff, and the chances of a top 14 type of player being there at 14, like, it seems like there's like maybe two guys that you would take with that type of pick. The chances of them being there for the Ravens at 14 seems to be pretty slim to me. But the chances of there being an elite wide receiver is actually pretty good.
I saw the mocks they had us taking wide receivers. I know. It's because there's so many top guys that are like in that range. Yeah.
Yes.
I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked.
Dude, I would not be shocked, bro. I remember Eric DeCosta said in last year's, when they showed the interview, he said, now it's time to get back to taking receivers. And still looking for the X, right? And then DeAndre Hopkins, probably, we'll see if he comes back, but it's not like he was a big part of the offense this year. I know we got Bateman, I know we got Flowers, but we didn't get enough production outside of Flowers this last year, man.
No, you'd get a guy. Like, I'm not underestimating that. Like, you'd grab who's like the top three. It's like Tyson, Carnell Tate, like Mackay on USC. Like those are guys. Like, no doubt. Like, you're gonna get some juice, but we would then have to fix the line in the mid rounds and get a veteran guard free agent too. Like, you can't sleep on that. And I also don't know where the pass rush juice would come from, because if you're not getting a pass rusher or like stud D tackle at 14, or at least in the second round, you're not going to have an immediate impact guy. Most likely. We've done the mid round. I'm not saying they can't be something. Tavius is nice. Travis Jones really panned out, but he wasn't getting a ton of playing time right away. It's not like Travis Jones was just wreaking havoc year one. So like, I want to build a team that we can win right now. I don't know how much patience we have here. Like, how much room do you have to, like, what if we're like 9-8 again? You know what I mean? Like, that ain't good enough, man.
Yeah. But I don't know, man.
You wouldn't mind a wide receiver? It'd be fun. It's fun.
No, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it because I don't think the Ravens are going to reach for a trench guy just for the sake of taking a trench guy. So, and just the way the draft is looking, I don't think a trench guy is going to be there that's worthy of a top 14.
What about like Peter Woods,
I don't think he'll be there, dude.
Oh, you think he was gone?
No, he'd go top 10, dude.
Yeah. I was going to say that's a D tackle that I would like to pair, man. Nobody's getting on that D line, you know.
I would love that too. Yeah. I would love Peter Woods, but I'm just saying, imagine you got Clint Kubiak coming in as an offensive coordinator, and you got him coordinating an offense with Lamar freaking Jackson, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, and like Mekhi Lemon.
Yeah,
like
and Lemon's got he's got the dog in him. Yeah.
I'm just saying how nasty.
He's not huge. I wouldn't say he's like a big X guy though, but like he plays physical.
Yeah, he's explosive. He creates separation. A
lot of people have been saying AJ Brown. I've been seeing that all over the place because he's probably getting out of Philly, but I don't know how we'd afford it. I mean, I'd be down for like a year. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like if we could somehow make it work like this year, like let's run it.
Have to see how much guaranteed money he has on his deal. To see how much you'd have to absorb.
And EDC loves trading with the Eagles. We've done so many trades. Him and Howie are tight. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, AJ wants out. Here's a 5th round pick, huge contract. I just don't know how we make the money work.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be a long-term fix because he's obviously going to be declining after like a year or two here. He's going to be 30. So like, I don't think it's a long-term fix. It's exciting, but the contract is like, that's where it would make more sense to draft a top wide receiver than bring on an AJ Brown just because you can't really afford him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I do think we could, I don't know. It's like you could draft a receiver and then pay a receiver, or you could, I said that backward. You could draft a receiver and then pay an edge rusher, or you could draft an edge rusher and then pay a receiver. Right? Kind of have the options there, but I think obviously the receiver is more expensive than the edge rusher.
Yeah, right now, yeah. And like unless it was like a Crosby or something, but there's no free agents like that. Who's the top pass rusher? Trey Hendrickson, yeah, but he's not getting 40. Like, no, you know what I mean?
He'll probably get 20, you know.
Yeah, but that, like you said though, that's affordable compared to AJ Brown's 30.
Right.
Yeah. No, there's gonna be a lot of decisions, man. And who's to say we don't just trade the 14th pick for Crosby? Let's run that.
Hey,
like that would fix a lot too.
That would.
You know what I mean? But yeah, let's get we got another super chat. Let me make sure we're caught up here. Goats again with the 3, man. Appreciate you tonight. EDC would never fire Harbs. We'll see what he says. Yeah, I mean, the reports were saying he was balling. He didn't want to, you know what I mean? But that's not his call. But it'll be interesting to see what they say tomorrow. And then Arch DeBucks with the 5. Thank you. We need to draft O-line at 14. No point having weapons with the O-line being bad as it was last year. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there might be a top tackle up there that we have to shift into guard, but I feel like we'll probably build the O-line in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round, most likely, and a veteran free agent.
Right.
Unless there is just like a freak that falls to 14. But I was also looking because I had this similar thought. I was like, dude, we got to get an O lineman at 14. And then I was looking at the options there and I was like, shoot, like,
yeah, there's no guard.
You're not drafting a guard there. Like
no,
0%
the highest ranked
chance.
Guard is ranked 20th overall as a prospect. The Ravens aren't going to reach.
No. So it would have to be a superstar tackle that we play at guard for 1 year and then move to replace Ronnie. That could be a move. Yeah.
That would be a good move.
Yeah. That would help for sure. And then we got Steelers Texans in 10 minutes.
Here we go.
Yeah. Somebody said something that got me. It was like, man, we should be playing in this game. I missed it, but no.
Hey, if we were playing in this game, we wouldn't be having these awesome conversations about our next head coach.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have the 14th overall draft pick. So you got to look at it in the positive light, right?
It is. I think it went just bad enough that Steve did pull the trigger. I really don't know. If we were playing tonight, I do think that it's easy to kind of sell yourself on, well, we did have a lot of injuries. Lamar missed, 5 games or whatever it was, and was in and out and missing some practice. And we got off to a 1-5 start with a ton of injury. Like, there's excuses kind of built in there a little bit. But we missed the playoffs. Like, we went 8
and had a
9.
losing record.
Yeah, exactly. And Steve's just like, dude, I'm going against the grain, and this is it. And it was against the grain. I think he was one of the only people outside of maybe some of the players that were probably just like, sure, we'll take a new voice. But like, I do think the rest of the front office wanted Harbaugh and was going to, thought he was coming back. So Steve made a bold move. He even said too, I forget what article I was reading, but he said that he took so much into consideration that he was listening to the fans, and maybe he watches the show. I doubt it, but he was taking so much into consideration that he was listening to the fans and the ticket prices and all that. Like, obviously the ticket prices impact things, but I'm just saying he took, a ton of into consideration here.
Well, apparently they weren't selling enough seats towards the end of the year, man.
I get it.
Which in years past is like, the year sold out, dude.
No, for sure. But we felt it too. Like, here, like, you could feel the fan base just being like, dude, we're done. This is frustrating. Like, we are underperforming consistently. So are you going to want to go spend $200-$300? You know what I mean? Like, at minimum, like, that's not even like the best seats. Like, it's not, it's expensive to go to games. So when the team's not living up, and in prime time, we were getting smacked. I went to the Thanksgiving game. It was terrible. Like, we got smacked.
I felt for you on that one, Ryan.
It's just rough, though. Like, when you go to a Ravens game in prime time, lights are going, energy's high, and you just 5 turnovers, you get busted by the Bengals. Like, that's crazy. Like, that doesn't happen. That's not what happens in Baltimore, man. So, yeah, I think Steve stepped up here. We got one more super chat here.
Ohio Ravens flock. He said, I was at Texans.
Yeah, that one was bad.
The worst one to be at all year,
100%. But the expectations were low because, like, we did have a preseason lineup in. We had Cooper Rush. The whole defense was undrafted rookies. Like, the expectations were lower for that one, but that was a disgustingly bad game.
But at the time, the Texans were really
they were struggling
too. So
we started their turnaround. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Jared Bear with the 5. Thank you, man. Let's be grateful for unfortunate circumstances, and hey, watch this Pittsburgh Texans game. Yeah. No, I'm rooting for the Texans. Man. Yeah, I'm rooting for the Texans. I don't care. I'm bitter about it.
I'm actually rooting for the Texans to win it, the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Seattle,
Seattle and Texans are like the two teams. I feel bad for Texans fans, bro. Have they ever won a Super Bowl? I don't think so. No. They have had little success over the years. And I love Stroud and D'Amico Ryans, and then
Will
Seahawks,
Anderson,
Mike
crazy too,
Mack, dude. Will Anderson, bro. Dude. Their whole defense is crazy. I'd be surprised if the Steelers scored more than 10 points tonight.
They do get DK back, so I mean,
I don't think it matters, dude.
No, I'm interested. I am interested, and I agree with Jared Bear. I am hate watching a little bit too, man. I don't want to see the Steelers go on a run here and have like Rodgers go out with a Super Bowl. That would hurt.
Yeah. The Steelers are one and done, dude.
I hope so.
They're one and done.
I hope so, man.
Yeah.
But you got anything else in your mind, man? Or should we just hop off and watch the game? Starts in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, dude. I think we'll go watch the game, man. But thanks for everyone that came in. Thanks for all for the love, the support. How many people we got live right now, man? We got
I don't know, it's like 4 something.
Yeah. 5. So, dude, such an exciting offseason. So exciting. Me and Ryan, before the season, we were like, bro, why don't we do lives on Mondays throughout the year? And then towards the end of the year, we were like, let's keep it rolling throughout the offseason and just keep doing this and have it a routine. So just, man, come tune in on Monday nights. And we appreciate the love and support. Can't wait to see who the Ravens hire as their next head coach, man.
No, I know. It's going to be a really interesting offseason. We were saying that too, but now it's locked in. We got one more farewell super chat here from BB with the 5. He said draft should be Cassius Howe, Kendrick Falk, Edge, and Chase. I'm not sure who the guard is. Basantis.
Yeah.
And Jaden Greathouse.
I wouldn't be mad
I
at
gotta
that
look into the other
stack.
guys. No, that would fill needs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do wonder if the Ravens are going to draft any differently either. That'll be interesting to hear Eric DeCosta talk about too. Like, take some accountability for going cheap in the trenches and being like, hey, this is where I messed up. We're going to address this. Because he does talk about what they need mostly. It's obvious. The needs are obvious. I mean, everybody knows them. It's not like a secret. You know what I mean? So it's like, why wouldn't he just be like, hey, yeah, we need to build a fortress in front of Lamar. We need to get to the quarterback. And that's the attention this offseason outside of obviously draft or getting a head coaching staff. But that definitely would fill everything. But yeah, appreciate you guys so much, man. All you guys, thank you for tuning in and supporting all our videos. And we'll be here every Monday, and it's just heating up, man. Let's see who the Ravens head coach is. So appreciate you guys. Have a beautiful rest of your night, and we will see you next Monday.